Hi, it's Fiona from the Hourly Uprising. Today's story is called Snacks or Squats. How to break the snack cycle with squats instead of snacks. Fiona was supposed to be focused. She had deadlines, a calendar full of overlapping meetings, an inbox bloated with indecipherable subject descriptions like forward, FYI, Q3, question mark, which frankly felt like they belonged in a museum of workplace ambiguity instead of her inbox. This is how she found herself elbow deep in the snack drawer. This was not on the agenda. Yesterday, she'd gone to the gym, a rare and noble outing. She wore leggings engineered for Olympic ambition. 20 minutes on the cross trainer, she'd flung a kettlebell about, wishing it was Kettle Crisps, done some time on the leg press, and then stretched, just to make sure she could still touch her toes. A successful outing, if not entirely effective, and certainly not the full prescribed programme from the personal trainer. The gym was less a workout and more of a field trip with cardio intentions. But she was feeling pleased with her efforts and treated herself to a 4-pack of raspberry yum-yums on the way home. By bedtime, the pack was empty. Fiona was left with sticky fingers and a faint glaze of shame. She was carb neutral, she told herself. Gym math. It's a thing. Or it should be. Now, she sat at her desk, staring at her calendar, shaped like a game of Tetris, and just as stressful. Before she knew it, she was reaching for the top drawer of her desk and rummaging for a snack. If snack eating was a competition, Fiona would be leading the race. The wrapper crackled. Fiona sighed. She stared at the snack in her hand like she might possibly, hypothetically, put it back. It was an existential face-off between self-discipline and glucose. On one side, 5 minutes of movement, an empowered body, and a vague sense of superiority. On the other, icing. Fiona hesitated. She pictured her thighs, still faintly resentful from yesterday's workout, whispering dark things about delayed onset muscle soreness. Her brain offered a compromise. Maybe she could eat the snack while squatting. Fiona paused. Was this hunger, habit, angry eating? Was this really what she wanted? Or just a short sanctuary from the battlefield of her inbox and the relentless barrage of emails? Hard to say. Her stomach was quiet. She stared at the chocolate bar as though it might reveal the answer. A small voice whispered, "Eat now, regret later." Classic strategy. But she remembered the yum-yums from the night before and thought, can't continue like this. She would never lose the weight and keep it off if she kept diving headfirst into the snack drawer every time she was overwhelmed with work. Maybe she would do a couple of those quick squats instead. Try out one of those active breaks that the personal trainer keeps harping on about. If she still wants the chocolate afterwards, well, we can cross that bridge then. She shoved the snack back in the drawer, a decision she would revisit frequently over the next 5 minutes, and stood up. The noise from her joints was somewhere between a haunted violin and a dysfunctional machine. Some people found peace through meditation. Fiona was attempting to find hers through squats and passive-aggressive commentary from her knees. 1 squat became 3, then 5. Her thighs began to scream complaints at her, titled "Unreasonable Acts of Physical Activity." This was ambitious, she muttered. Halfway through what she was generously calling a set, her phone buzzed. Fiona sighed. Time to re-enter the fray. But she had to admit she was feeling quite pleased with herself. She didn't really want that chocolate bar anymore, and her heart was pumping. Oxygen was returning to the parts of her brain that had been previously running on caffeine and email-induced adrenaline. Fiona smiled with the smugness of someone who'd done 5 squats and now felt very much like she'd conquered this entire exercise business. That afternoon, she managed to resist the snack drawer until 2:17 p.m, when a spreadsheet error triggered an existential crisis. If you're hoping Fiona makes the right choice, lower your expectations. This is midweek, not a hero's journey. Feeling snacked and stressed, try 5 squats before you open the snack drawer. Not because you should, but because your legs might just distract your mouth long enough to make a better decision. This isn't a discipline test, it's a movement strategy for messy days. Good luck.